Matthew 22, verses 1 through 14, about the wedding feast parable here. And we're going to just hit on a few things. I know that last week, I feel like it was pretty well exhausted. I feel like everyone contributed very mightily to the efforts of this particular parable. And so I think it's very, very good. But I want to make a few more extra comments, and then we're going to go to the next parable. But I'm going to give you a warning, is that these parables are noticeably at the end of the ministry of Jesus. There are some sister parables to these in earlier parts of Luke and Mark. And so after we do a few of these in Matthew 2 and 24 and 25, we're actually going to go back seemingly in time in the Bible, I guess, and look at a few other ones, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, but I just want to make you aware, because some of these are very interesting. Anyway, when you look at the wedding feast, again, the wedding feast, the king has a wedding for his son. The servants go out, find all of the ones that were invited. They all rejected the invitation. They said, we are busy doing other things. We cannot come. So then he instructs the servants out to the house and byways and find those who are not invited to come in. And then there was one that was invited. They looked on the wedding garment. And so now you have the whole feast. And this thing is part of a trilogy in Matthew 21 and 22, where well, I just had it here and I lost it. Where'd I put it? Anyway, but this is all about the rejection of Jesus. And so 21 is all about the rebellion against Jesus. Now this is absolute rejection of him. And so I'll find it in my notes in a minute. I don't know where I put that thing. Here it is. I got it. 21, 28 to 32 is rejection of John the Baptist. 21, 33 to 46 is rejection of Jesus. And now this is rejection of Jesus' messengers. There it is. 22, 1 through 14. Now, when you look at this, though, and I know that last week we had a lot of discussion about the garment, about the one man who was invited and didn't, have the right clothing and such. I think that was handled pretty well last week. So I'll make a few comments about this. So in verse number 7, after he had heard about the murdering of his son, the king sent out armies and destroyed the murderers and burned up their city. I think that their city is dealing with Jerusalem. I think it's dealing with upcoming destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. Then he said to his servants, the wedding is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. And so from the standpoint of Matthew, he's looking at this as the whole, which is in view, not just a few. Hence, not only a exact judging upon the first neglectors, but also upon those who actually came. And so therefore, he says, go to the highways and the byways, meaning as you go find, invite to the wedding. And so those servants went out to the highways and gathered together all whom they found. Verse 10, both bad and good. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, saw a man there who did not have on a wedding garment. And so the wedding garment, there are three possible ideas about what that would mean. First one is dealing with a resurrection body or garment of glory, which was typically seen as luminous and angelic. That's one way someone has interpreted this. Another way is found in Matthew 13:43, where someone has said that this is all dealing with the saints who will shine like the sun. And then thirdly, which I think is more accurate one, is dealing with baptism. So I think this is also dealing with baptism here, about this wedding garment, because if you're not a member of the church, but rather an unbelieving outsider, this creates great necessity to get inside the church. And also you have when he said to him, friend, to the man without the wedding garment, how did you come in here without wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then the king said to his servants, bind him hand and foot, take him away, and throw him, cast him into the outer darkness, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now that he actually uses a Hebrew there about this weeping and gnashing of teeth, because that was seen as a place of the valley of Hinnom. They associate with Gehenna. That was the trash dump outside Jerusalem, where all the crazies were put in, because they were seen as being undesirables and deplorables, and so they were put into these areas. Crazies of the area were normally regulated to, in this case, the trash dump, where they would burn it, and also to the tombs, where they couldn't touch anyone who's alive, and they were already around others who are also impure. And so anyways, when you look at what's happening here, of course, I think imagery is showing that when you envision hell, it's seen as a place of absolute irrationality, erratic behavior, unreasonable people, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth upon the soul. So that's dealing with those who are not wearing the wedding garment. And I think that's, again, dealing with being baptized. And then 14, that's why he says that many are called, but few are chosen. And so this is all dealing with the chosen here, or the ones who choose to follow after Jesus. Many are called, but few follow after him. So I think the idea of chosen isn't the idea of God has predestined this person. It's the idea that this is one of the elect because they have met God's requirements for such. Okay, for salvation, for the church, for following after Christ, all those kind of things. Okay, now that is this. I wanted to mention a few of those things really quick. So I didn't get to do it last week. So now we're going to look at Matthew 24, next parable in the list here. Matthew 24, verses 32 and 33. And as you're turning over there, this whole section is in the middle. This parable is in the middle of a lot of discussion about the destruction of Jerusalem, how it's imminent. And I believe he's using a parallelism here with the imminency of the judgment. Now, there is a mentality around this section here that has been inside the church for a little while, and as well as other areas as well, where there's a mentality that says that everything, that the world itself ended at AD 70 based on this section. I firmly believe that is entirely false. I think he's using the final judgment, showing that that is imminent like that is. Just as Jerusalem will be destroyed, and it's going to happen. You cannot get away from it. The Jews are going to lose everything. And so I think he's dealing with it more of that standpoint than for everybody's going to have to, deal with it. I think it's more for the Jews here. But in the middle of all this discussion, and why I brought that up really quick, because, you'd be amazed at some people actually do have this view inside the Church of Christ. And it gets very, very weird. The more you talk to people about it, and it's all based on a false teaching. But I just want to make you aware of it. Don't depend there to hear it from anybody, okay? Okay, so in the middle of all this, you have a parable of the fig tree. Verse 32 through 35 of Matthew 24 says, now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branches has already become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. If you want to do something, you can do it too, I guess. But So you also, when you see all these things, you know it is near at the doors. So surely I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words by no means pass away. All right. Now it comes to the fig tree. This is a very short and sweet kind of parable. What do y'all think this is talking about? Now, this is dealing with the coming judgment on Jerusalem. He's using this again, the parallelism of Christ coming, and when Christ and when Vespasian is sent there to destroy, it is at the providence of God, and so that's why it has the figs, or it's going back and dying. Yeah. The fig trees normally showed signs of life in the spring, nearing summer, and so all these things are reliable indicators that he is near. So this idea of nearness is also dealing with Jesus bringing in the kingdom, and how Jerusalem's going to end, Israel's going to end, and so now the kingdom's going to come in full force at the end of Christ's life here, after he's died, in Acts 2. But then you see verse 34, where it says, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. Heaven and earth are the most enduring fixtures in the created order. Words, in contrast, are short in lifespan. They are spiritually quickened before they are gone. Yet Christ's words, because they come from God, are more enduring than creation's most enduring structures. So, all that, just to talk about again, that Christ's words are not going to be muddied and messed around, and so they're going to have to contend with that. We know that Christ's words are what will judge us in the last day, even John 12, verse 48. So, very short parable, very quick. This is actually one of the shortest ones you can find in your Bible. Do you have any observations or extra comments before we go on to another one? Great. 5 minutes, no less. Next one. This is one I think that we can talk more about. This is now going to be dealing with the 10 virgins. So let's go ahead and turn. You probably can look over page 2 in your Bible to Matthew 25, 1 through 13. The 10 virgins. Now, I know we know about this parable, but now it says, the kingdom of heaven shall be likened to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Now 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. Those who were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. The wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight, the cry was heard, behold, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him.